Dave, hearing your name called out as the overall?
Definitely. I didn't know if it was going to happen, but it's still sinking in.
Now, I saw you really cracking up over there when you were hugging your mom. What emotions were coming to the front?
This is the whole journey, the whole process of starting the lifting all the way to, coming to where I am. It's been a long road.
A long road ahead of him. Welcome back to Live with In Studio, and I'm Dave Palumbo, and today we have a special surprise guest in studio. We have the one and only Jason Huh with Anthony Pasquale. We got 2 for 1 today. Guys, welcome into the studio.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. And a lot of people, Jason, have been asking me, where you been? Where's Jason Huh? What's he been up to? Last we saw him on stage was over 5 years ago? And
it was 5 years ago, yeah.
What have you been doing with yourself?
That's typical of me, though. I'm in and then I'm out.
You're like
I'm pretty elusive
the
when
enigma.
I guess. But I've been working.
It's funny that you two kind of teamed up because Anthony dropped off the scene. What year was that, Anthony?
Same year.
Is that the year that you lost your mind too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Anthony disappeared and dropped out of the USA. We talked about that, and then Jason, you kind of said you just got frustrated with competing.
It wasn't. No, not at all. It wasn't. I had kids. Like that's really what I got married.
But other people compete with kids.
Yeah, but they don't like it. I'm an extreme individual, and it's either you do it or you don't. Mm-hmm. And when I had kids, I was very understanding that, look, this is going to take the majority of my time, and I wanted to keep competing. It was a transitional phase where I identified that I had to come to terms and understanding that this was not a possibility to give the kids my all and bodybuilding. It's just not possible. Yeah, a lot of people compete with kids, but if I'm going to compete, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And I don't know many Mr. Olympias that are that involved with their kids, period.
Right.
They may have kids.
I think Lee Haney might have been, but he's an anomaly, though.
That's different. Yeah. I'm not a Lee Haney. I would never claim to be, and I don't have the genetics to, I had to work a little fucking harder.
Let's talk about, we saw the little clip that has become world famous now, of you crying after the USA Championships. Right. That was what year again?
2010. 11? No, 2010, and then I got married, and then it was like a sequence of events. Like I turned pro, I got married 4 or 5 months later, pregnant a month later, and that's how it all came to be.
Tell us how hard it is, because I know now personally, but I don't compete anymore, so it doesn't matter. But what happens now? You have screaming kids in the house. You can't sleep 10 hours a day anymore.
I don't need to, thank God.
Oh,
but as I've downsized, I've realized.
Well, no, I'm talking about when you were competing. I'm sure you were a sleeper, weren't you?
Yeah, but the wife was very considerate of, Jessica was very considerate of my goals and what I was trying to accomplish. So she would situate, I would sleep, I would sleep at odd hours and Jess would sleep, when the baby was screaming and crying, she'd sleep in another room. And we just tried to make it work as best as possible.
Right.
Juggle everything on top of that and work.
You did get on a pro stage a couple times, and we just didn't see the best Jason Huh.
No.
Why not?
Like I said, my mind was elsewhere.
So you were not into it anymore?
I was, but it wasn't, like I said, once the baby was born, my mind was just off in another world, and what you saw was just the momentum of what had been going on up into turning pro. And everybody, said, well, Jesus, that's just a sorry excuse for having kids. It's like, no, Tony will know, I really enjoy my children and the time that I get to spend with them. And it's just a fact that when you're bodybuilding and you're a pro bodybuilder and the pressure is there to perform and the drugs that are involved, you're not all there emotionally. When you're running various drugs, you're not there. You can't be. There's no way. And certain really good pros may be able to juggle that, but they are really good, and there's going to be a 3 to 4 month time period prior to a show where they're detached. And I recognize that for 2 to 3 shows, the 2 or 3 pro shows that I did, that 3-4 months apart with an infant was like a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
Because the development of a child, between 0 and 2, 3 years old, like that is an imperative time for you to be a part of their life, and it sets them up for the rest of their life. And that emotional bond and attachment they develop with you it becomes impenetrable. And I recognized that the 2 or 3 shows that I did, it wasn't what it was aligning with who I was inside with a child, and my mother being a clinical psychologist, a doctor. It's like, and growing up with a psychologist, I grew up in a fucking nut house. So
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a nut.
Yeah, you know, I have to say this because I remember after you won Team Nationals,
Right.
the overall, I mean, you got into competing, and I think you won the Southern States overall.
Right.
There was no person I knew, maybe myself, that was more obsessed with bodybuilding.
I was obsessed.
And who was more consumed with it, and who loved it more than you did. The training, the dieting, the getting ready for the shows, the posing, because you're a very creative individual.
I could have been a better competitor or even a pro if I wasn't as obsessed, for sure.
I think we all go a little extreme sometimes. But I mean...
And the drugs didn't help that. It just accentuated my...
obsession, yeah. No, but do you say to yourself, I went from this consumption of all I can think about is bodybuilding, and then you just said, I'm done.
Right, but that's the story of my life.
How does that happen?
I bet that's happened with
I'm
me.
very similar to that, so I can relate to that, but most people out there can't.
Most people don't know this, but I've been a classical guitarist. I was a first year violinist for I don't know how many years. I've got black belt in martial arts. Like, I've done so much shit, and then it came to a point where I'm like, I'm bored, and I just turn off and I do something completely different, whether it's art or bodybuilding or business. But it's always within the creative sector. I like staying creative and being imaginative and abstract and completely different from, I guess, what the sheeple are doing, if you will.
Sheep like that. Now, you were, arguably one of the biggest guys out there. I mean,
at one point, not anymore.
For weight. I mean, you were what, 300 pounds at what, 5'9",
The highest,
5'8"?
I think it was 304, 305 at the heaviest, but my God, that was unpleasant.
And how tall are you?
5'9".
Yeah, I mean, that's
It's
size, height
you
for weight.
know, it's...
I wasn't that big. I mean, I was 5'10", and I was 319, but I think you were bigger for your height. I mean, how was that walking around at that weight?
It's, I feel as though once you hit that 240 plus mark, you really start to recognize that anything higher, your day-to-day is centered around the 45 minutes to an hour and a half of weight training, and that is it. And so everything you do is work. If you're moving around, even down to like thinking, function, it's all centered around eating and that hour window of bliss in the gym. And outside of that, everything sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like, I don't care if you're getting into your car, tying your shoes, and your heart is racing. Fuck having sex. You just lay there like a big fat teddy bear. And if you do, you're going to go and have, I don't know what kind of tachycardia issue for an hour after that. It's just everything. You don't get to really enjoy the day-to-day. Your life is centered around that 45 to an hour workout, and then which leads up to a 90-second window of squeezing and posing, and for a half-filled stadium with a bunch of screaming, whatever the fuck, that have no concept of really what happiness is. And then there's been a lot that's led up in my calculations as to what am I doing. I actually thoroughly enjoyed bodybuilding and then never have to step off the stage. I just enjoyed the discipline that it took to do it, the art. My father was a bodybuilder, and it was always about the art side of things, and it wasn't really a competitive. I am competitive, extremely competitive, but I recognized, even prior to turning pro, I was like, man, I'd enjoy just being like a Vic Richards and being massive and just guest posing. And
You could have done that, I mean, if you wanted to.
But I'm glad it all happened the way it did.
Now, is it true you haven't worked out in 5 years?
No, one.
Oh, 1 year you haven't worked.
Yeah, I've been training up to about a year ago, and then after some mercury toxicity issues with fish and whatnot, I've kind of pumped the brakes, and then it went hand in hand with business and how much time I need to spend on business, and then family. I was pulling back on everything and reallocating my energies to more to the priorities.
Let's get into that, because I think that's important. I think, when I had kids and, and I tore my quad in 2012, and it's never been the same, and I've missed a lot of gym time, something I never did before. I would never miss like more than 3 days. Once you start, saying to yourself, well, I can't do this. I have to kind of put my energy someplace else. But I'm like you, I'm a creative outlet. I have to find another creative outlet. Obviously, RXMuscle, Species Nutrition is my creative outlet. my snake breeding and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
no, we're very similar in a lot of regards.
Yeah, so I can relate to what you're going through. Now all of a sudden the gym doesn't become as important.
Right.
And you can completely turn it off and say, hey, I'm not going to go anymore. Right? I mean, do you miss it?
A part of me, the first 3 to 6 months was really hard mentally because I was like, wow, where's my outlet? Where do I release the steam and the stress? But up until like today, part of me misses just a bit of it, but I realized that I could refine what I was getting out of it into like a 15-minute window in the gym, and that'd be good. But if somebody said you can never train weights again the rest of your life, I wouldn't miss a beat.
That's crazy.
I'm actually happier now than I've ever been in the last 15 years of my life, and it's because I'm extreme, you're extreme, and I realized the amount of energy and devotion that I was giving bodybuilding, if I just took a percentage of that and applied it to a little bit over here and then my kids and the business, just percentages of what we put into bodybuilding, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna succeed. It's a joke. And bodybuilders out there know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication and discipline. If you guys just take that and apply it to whether it be your family, money, whatever your dreams are, if you just took that away and reapplied, you're gonna succeed every time.
Yeah, I tell people I go to the gym twice a week now.
Right.
For maybe 45 minutes because I feel like I need to do it for my joints and stuff like that. But there's no mental energy that requires. I don't have to prepare mentally to go into the gym. It's not like I'm going, I got 600 pound squats to do today. Totally. I just go in there and it's a joke almost. There's nothing. I don't even eat before I go to the gym. Like I do listen to none of the rules that I've created for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And so there's no stress, and I don't feel like it takes anything out of me. If anything, it just is, like you said, it's a release. But when you were diagnosed, because I remember you had been calling me and saying, I just don't feel right.
Yeah.
And then you found out that you had mercury toxicity.
Mercury poisoning. Yeah.
What's a normal level of mercury for a person?
It needs, blood-wise, it needs to be below 3. And that's what's actually floating throughout the bloodstream. That doesn't take into consideration what is stored in tissue.
Okay.
My levels last year were at 87.
3 to 87.
Yeah, and my wife's was at 35.
Oh, she was high too.
Because we were eating the same foods.
I got you.
I was just eating in larger quantities.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, what did you feel like? What were the symptoms of that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who might be experiencing the same thing.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine Kai Green's toxic mercury.
Oh my God, that's the thing.
He's a fish eater.
For 2 years, I was consuming a particular type of fish and various amounts of seafood. I was trying to do the healthy and wise thing, and we'll stay away from red meat, and we'll go down this vegetable and seafood type lifestyle.
Sure.
You don't know what's going on until it's too late. It's like you start drinking, and you don't know until it hits you.
Sure.
And it's the same thing with mercury. It just builds up, and everybody hits their own tipping point based on their detox pathways and other toxicities that they may have, and stress. And the wife felt hers pretty quickly, but we could not figure out what was wrong.
What was her symptoms?
You feel really depleted all the time. You can't stay hydrated. Tachycardia left and right. You feel anxious, and then that turns into nervousness, and then we start having tachycardia issues. Your heart's just racing. It's because the mercury is robbing your body of minerals and everything, so the heart doesn't have the proper amount of minerals and the balance to maintain proper rhythm.
Interesting.
So we both went through the same exact thing. It just happened to her a lot sooner. I couldn't puzzle piece together, so I'm getting her blood work and I'm looking at her hormones, and she just had we just had another baby, and that was also we thought was like a postpartum type situation, but it wasn't.
Do you worry about the baby? Because
it was a fucking mess for a year long. Breastfeeding and you name it. It was a lot of tears, a lot of uncertainty based on how the baby would handle it and how things were going, and ultimately the kid is leaps and bounds like ahead of our other children. There
you go.
And everybody on Instagram knows like Leo is just advanced for his age.
Right.
We did all the testing for. We had to go through blood work, and then something called a provoke test, where they give you a chelating agent, and then you urinate for a certain amount of time, and that gauges how much mercury and various other metals were within the body that were not in the bloodstream.
Did you have anything in you that
I was through the roof. It was like it was just off the scales. We sat with the doctor, and the doctor said to both of us, I've never seen mercury levels this high, ever. And everybody in the industry was, it's too much drugs and steroids and this and that. It's like, well, my wife isn't a bodybuilder, and we eat the same shit. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
What was the what were the other metals in you? Anything else?
Mercury was the main one.
Yeah.
There was one, Galladium was a hair high, but you have to take into consideration the exposures that you may have had throughout your life and the various foods you've eaten. You can't read too far into it, but when mercury is like 100 times what it should be,
Sure.
you got an issue, you got a problem. So
How'd they
then we
get out of
freaked
you?
out. Chelation therapy, which usually involves DMPS and or DMSA, and they go in and it just grabs on the various heavy metals, including minerals. I think so.
I know EDTA is definitely a very known chelating
Right,
agent.
right.
But they're not just giving it you orally; they're giving it to you IV.
IV. And
And you notice you
EDTA
pee weird stuff out from that?
when we initially started doing it, the smell that would come, it was very sulfur-like. But as the years gone on, and I've done more and more, you just feel a little depleted, and you need like a week to just kind of relax and chill. But that's about it. But it was scary because we wanted to test the baby and see what we did fecal testing, and his was through the roof, and
really?
yeah. So it was in perfect timing because it was breastfed, and then we switched to formula.
What do you believe? One? Unless there's mercury coming out of it.
Right. Yeah. At that point, we were just like, look, we were on the right. We had the right intentions with wanting to lead a healthier lifestyle. We just need to be a bit less extreme and more well-rounded.
Isn't
in our
that scary though? When you think you're living this super healthy lifestyle, you're probably spending a fortune on food.
The biggest mind
and
fuck.
you're freaking poisoning yourself.
We're at Whole Foods. Whole Foods has all of our business.
And
you
that's
name it.
That's an expensive meal there.
Yeah, and I was buying it in bulk because I was getting a good price from the distributor from Whole Foods, and it's a bit of a.
What was the fish you were eating?
Chilean sea bass.
Wow.
Chilean sea bass, and then of course tuna, and then the sushi.
What about swordfish? Any swordfish?
Nah, I didn't care for this.
I love swordfish. I think swordfish is very high in mercury.
It's
too,
very
right?
high.
Yeah. That's why I don't eat it.
The crazy part
I
about
eat a lot of salmon.
a lot of people, for the year or the 2 years that you were eating all this mercury, it kind of led up into where we are today in terms of steel, the development of the company, because it gave me this, it gives you this anxious feeling all the time. And you want to be isolated, you want to be away, and that's typically already kind of who I am. I want to be away.
You're a little introverted, yeah.
But the mercury only magnified that, and for 2 years as I was developing steel, I didn't sleep, but I would sleep throughout the day and work all night.
That's productive though.
Yeah, no, I spent 2 years developing every inch and corner of this company, from the labels, the design, everything you see on a bottle was done by me. Like
that's weird. You're like a savant. I mean, how do you know how to do all this stuff, like with the computer and everything?
I'm just artistic.
You taught yourself, or you took classes?
Well, I had somebody that would take what I wanted, and I'd say, okay, do this with the computer, and I want it to look like this. I designed everything though, from what was in the product to the bottles to the labels to every visual aspect, everything I wanted. But I spent 2 years in a padded room in the dark.
Really?
Doing it, and I hadn't seen legitimately.
That was because of the mercury.
That was mainly because of the mercury, and as I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, that's normally not me. But it put me in a position to be creative, to bring forth something out of the dirt. Out of the hell came steel, and it was forged in hell. It legitimately was. I didn't see sunlight for 2 years, and when it came a point when health really took a shit last year, I thought to myself, maybe I should get some sunlight. And I actually went out and I sat in the sun, and I blacked out within 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
What caused that?
With all the mercury and not seeing the sun in 2 years, it'll fuck with you.
Really? Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. That scared the shit out of you?
I woke up, and one of the security guards that was in this parking garage, because I was just kind of like out basking in this parking garage, getting out of my car, and he came out and was like, "You're all right?" And I was like, I guess. Shit, I don't know what's wrong with me. And we didn't really, at that time, we didn't really know that it was mercury just yet. It was like a few weeks after that I found out.
And did you go for blood work?
Oh, that's a whole nother story in itself. Doctors don't know shit. They don't.
Doesn't that drive me crazy?
They really don't. And unless you really care about yourself, you need to do your research. You need to be very attentive, because they just don't have time. They don't care. The first doctor I went was a well-known gastro doctor in Sarasota, and I go in and he sized me up to he looked at the blood work where I was hospitalized in Boca the 1st of January, 2016 to 17. I was hospitalized because of the tachycardia. I went in and I'm like, I'm freaking out. And they did all my blood work and they're like, well, your liver enzymes are a little elevated, but your CPK levels are through the roof, as though you've got rhabdomyolysis. Right. Like, I haven't been training. That's not even possible.
Really? That's weird, yeah. And
so the doctors at the emergency room, there's really nothing wrong. Your kidneys are fine. Yeah. Your heart's, there's 0 heart attacks, everything's fine except this rhabdo. I'm like, well, I haven't run a marathon. I haven't touched a weight in like a month. This doesn't make any sense. And then I came back and we were trying to piece the puzzle. I crawled back and a buddy of mine came down out of his way and he scooped me up and brought me home. And we just tried to piece this all together as steel was really starting to take off. So steel was taking off. My health is going to shit.
Just for people not to know, Steel Supplements is your supplement line.
Steel Supplements is our supplement brand, yeah.
That's
So mapping all this together, I was seeing various doctors throughout Sarasota, even as far as going, I went to the Mayo Clinic. I've dropped $60,000 in medical bills in 2017 just to figure out what was wrong, because the first doctor I went to was
like... So we figured it out?
I went to Dr. Watts, Renewal Point in Sarasota, and it was more along the lines of me figuring it out, because the first doctor I went to, like I said, I went in, I sat down, I said, look, I don't know what's wrong, and he sized me up, said, well, you look like you're lifting too much. He was pretty arrogant about the situation. You're lifting too much, you're on drugs, you need to stop, your kidneys are going to fail because you've got rhabdomyolysis, and the body can't filter all this out. I'm like, well, I haven't trained, so I don't know how I got rhabdo, and ended up leaving pretty disgruntled, and like, well, maybe he's right. Maybe all the years of being a bodybuilder has caught up to me, and the reality is, no, that wasn't the case. Right. And so I go back 2 weeks later. Does mercury
cause that rhabdo?
It can in certain people.
Oh, I didn't
know.
So
if you have a surplus of mercury and you go and train, it can create a myopathy.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So those bodybuilders eating all that damn fish and training.
When you say a myopathy, explain to the people what you mean by that.
A myopathy is basically, in simple terms, the muscle, your muscles fail to operate optimally. The soreness, weakness.
Do you see histological abnormalities in the tissues in your body?
No.
Okay.
So I went back to that doctor and I talked to the nurse. I was like, I don't like the way your doctor talked to me and sized me up to be a drug addict, because that's not the case. Right. I need you to order every test in the book. I don't care if it's AIDS from a monkey in Africa. No, I was like, look, lady, I need
something's going on here. I got to find
test
out.
In the world, because I know who I am and where I've been and what I've done with my body. And something not right, and sure enough, she $5,000 worth of tests, and like this, we come back the next week. She's like, "Well, you got an 80 for mercury level, and that seems to be a bit of concern." In walks the doctor, and he goes, "Nah, you're fine."
What?
I swear to God, he goes, "I'm a pescatarian. You're fine. I eat fish every single day. I got mercury levels." And you could tell, though, when I look back and reflect on his personality, it was like, wow,
maybe he's got
he was mimicking. He was mimicking a lot of the symptoms, the anxiousness and this and that.
He didn't want to admit maybe that he had the same problem.
But he knew he had high mercury levels, so he referred me to another doctor, and she didn't know shit. And then I finally, a friend of the family's for a long time, Dr. Watts. I come to find out he has a rejuvenation, clinic, and he specializes in homeopathic medicine. And I went there, and he issued this provoked urine for both of us. And sure enough, he's like, I've never seen it this high.
Wow.
Never.
And then how did you get referred to the chelation therapy? Is that just?
Well, he does it there.
Oh, he does it there. Okay.
Yeah, he does it there. But when I spoke to you around that time frame, we went everywhere. Celebrity doctors and. Nobody knew anything.
I got to be honest with you. I'm nervous. I want to get my mercury checked. Not that I have any symptoms of what you're saying, but I
didn't have any symptoms. Like until you hit that tipping point, and then your body can no longer handle the burden.
Because the thing with mercury is that you store it. It's progressive. So even if you don't eat a lot of it every day, if you do it every little bit, it keeps building up and building up and building
within
up.
Within the tissues, bones, skin, fat, and then it spills over to the blood, and your body can no longer handle it, filter out. So, but since I've done the chelation therapies throughout the year, my blood work every time I get back, it's just better and better.
What is it down to now?
My bloods for mercury are below a 3, but my vitals are even better than they were while I was bodybuilding and prior to bodybuilding, which I was saying earlier, it leads me to believe that maybe throughout my career, through the various supplements, drugs, whatever, that were heavy metal toxicities within some of the things that we were using.
Yeah, some because of the Chinese powders?
I would imagine.
What was the biggest cycle you were ever on? Give me an example of a Jason Huss cycle.
I never went. One time I went to 1,000 mgs of test, and I said, "This is disgusting." So I always kept around 750.
Right.
Mass cycle or pre-contest?
Yeah, give me like something that people would be like, oh, that's a lot of drugs.
Geez, let's see, 750 on the test. Mind you, we've known each other for how many
Yeah.
years? And I remember first meeting you, and I had never used, let's say, growth.
Yeah.
And you said, Jay, never go above 6.
Right.
Because of X, Y, Z. And I took that into consideration. I did at one point go up to, I think it was like 8 or 9 I used on the growth.
How'd you feel on that?
There's a point of diminishing returns mentally after the 6 that I noticed. But after the 6, I will be honest, the muscle growth in combination with insulin was on a whole nother level. And I'm not saying to go do that. Don't fucking do it, because it comes with consequences. But after 6, with various other drugs, there was absolutely a point where muscle I could watch myself grow in the mirror. It was insane, especially with my work ethic and how much I trained. I would, when I got into getting fancy with some of the gear usage, I really spent time in the gym. Most go the opposite. They get fancy and they see a little bit of muscle and they go an hour. I would spend 3-4 hours a day on one body part.
Really?
It even got to the point where I would, intra workouts, pre-workouts, I would.
You probably needed it with 4 hours in the gym.
Yeah, you constantly need it. And I'd figured out cycles that, that were notorious for putting people on the Mr. Olympia stage. Back in the early days, 90s, when I'd follow Milos and Ronnie and Chad, I knew these cycles and I understand how they would implement various things throughout their regimen and how they would time insulin, whether it be insulin pre, intra, and post. I knew how to manipulate us. And when I saw that, and I can go, oh, insulin intra? I can train for another 3 fucking hours?
Yeah, I don't think many people would be able to recover. You're a genetic freak, obviously. I don't think
Absolutely. I have the genes and genetics. Don't get me wrong. Most people, I'm a bit different. I'm a bit of a brain and then the muscle. And so I kind of took advantage of that and go, you know what? I can manipulate this and gain, 10, 15, 25 pounds of muscle year after year if I know how to do this. And you've been around for...
But my physique was the opposite. If I trained too much, I got smaller because I had such a fast metabolism.
But mine was the same until I got into the fancy stuff.
Well, I did the fancy stuff too, and I gained a lot of muscle, but I still couldn't train for 4 hours. What about you, Anthony? Did you train?
I got more of a fat gene than you.
Yeah. What was your training like?
I didn't train that long. Hour and 20
No,
minutes.
he was in and out.
Yeah, he trains like
I tried his style with even some of the intra stuff.
No, people couldn't.
Didn't work.
No,
I'm
There
different.
was too many carbs too, because he would do like 200 pre, 200 intra, 200 post.
Yeah, that'd be 2,000 grams of carbs.
That's the Milos. That's the Milos insulin program.
Exactly. That's Milos protocols.
But you need that when you're in the gym for 4 hours.
Yeah,
exactly.
I always tell people, intra workouts are ridiculous for most bodybuilders because most bodybuilders don't train more than an hour and 20 minutes. But if you're going to be in the gym for 4 hours, like a triathlon person, sure.
But that was me. But Milos protocols, back in the day, I knew with knowing art and what he had taught me, and he told me after he said the same thing that you did. But he said 6, forget about it. And of course I pushed the boundaries and I went up to the 8. I think I tried 9 for a minute and my hands were like fucking screaming, and I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up, my hands were stiff as shit. But when you go into the gym, it was literally like I put an inch on my arm.
Yeah, just from being pumped from all this.
Yeah, you'd go and pick up your gym bag and you're like, what's going on here? So outside of that, it was, test, equipoise. I never went above 6. Anytime I went above, it was never above 4. I'd go above 4, my head, the blood, I think the viscosity was just, it was too thick. Anything above 6, I think, is completely absurd. I hated Dianabol. I enjoyed Anadrol for certain time periods because of the fullness and the pump
Could you eat on it?
from it. Yeah. Oh, dude, I was eating.
A lot of guys can't eat.
My mindset was that if I threw up, I will eat my throw up. I'm so
I had that
extreme.
too. But
I will eat the vomit. This has happening. I think. But outside of that, some IGF here and there, all these new peptides, it's all a waste of fucking time.
I tell people the same
It's
thing.
stupid. And what's the SARMs and
SARMs?
SARMs?
SARMs.
Don't you fucking use that.
Well, people don't realize SARMs are only popular now because people can't get pro hormones.
Exactly.
Right.
The pro hormones were selling like crazy.
Right.
The SARMs were there. No one even cared. People just kind of pushed them off to the side. And then they made this pro hormones, which are really steroids, illegal. And so everyone said, we'll use the SARMs because we can get those legally or technically legally.
Yep.
Once they make those illegal, there'll be something new that people will be using, I'm sure.
And I think DECA. I use DECA and Trend every now and then. I would implement. I didn't like the DECA dick though that came with that.
You like Proviron. You taught me a lot.
I did enjoy Proviron.
I don't think it does anything personally.
I loved it. I loved it.
You know, when
Pre-contest, I really enjoyed
when you
it.
would take like 6 things, you really don't know what's
No.
working anyway.
Most people don't, but I'm so sensitive. I would wait and plot it and go, okay, I want to take this and then feel what I feel like in the next 6 hours, 12, 24, and then a week. And then I would implement and pull out various things and I'm like, oh, this is worthless. But like DECA, my strength would go through the roof, but then I started to understand, well, what's happening to my joints? Like, oh, it feels good on the joints. Well, that doesn't mean that's the right thing to do because my joints are feeling good. That means I'm going to do lifts that I shouldn't probably be doing and not be able to feel the pain.
Yeah.
And then when I come off, I'm going to have no joints left.
Right.
So I experimented with it here and there, but I wasn't a big fan. Tren
How much training did you do?
The most I had ever done was 75 MIGs, no, 50 MIGs 75 MIGs every day. And what that would equate to, what would that be?
150 every other day.
That's a good joke.
It's about 450 milligrams a week.
But
yeah.
that was, and I hear people 1,000 MIGs a week. That's fucking absurd.
People are
dude.
crazy,
It's
right?
disgusting.
I don't know how they I couldn't sleep on 50 every
No,
other day.
exactly 75 every day. I'm like, this is. I'm having nightmares. I'm sweating. But then I realized there is a way to regulate all that. If you're really on top of your estrogen, you can get it so that yes, you can sleep and you can function.
You
but
take a Xanax until you sleep at night. Yeah.
No, I never got into. That was one thing I never did. I never got into.
I had to take stuff to go to sleep.
I never got into
kept
drugs.
me awake. No.
I was never, and that's where the bodybuilding industry really turned me off when I turned pro and to being a part of the expos and going out and seeing what it was all about. I'm like, this.
But you like your weed, right? Don't you?
I've smoked in the past, but this is not. I haven't smoked in 3 fucking years.
At least maybe longer.
Really? So was that a big change for you?
What do you mean a big change?
No, I mean not doing any weed or anything like that.
I don't have an addicted person. I never did it like a regular. It was just like, oh, hey, it's a group of people.
Oh, okay. So you didn't do it. You weren't like one of these weed guys.
Oh,
all the time? Okay.
no. Because I knew Art had pointed out early on. He's like, dudes that smoke weed, it shows in their physique. They can't get as hard.
Yeah, they can't.
They can't. And so I was like, I'm not going to smoke fucking weed. I'm not, no pills. I never did any painkillers. I was very much against it all because I wanted to bodybuild.
Isn't that weird? You're so healthy and then you're freaking toxic from mercury.
No, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Let's talk. First of all, I got to mention one thing because I think this is one of the greatest things of all time. You live at the Ritz-Carlton.
Not the hotel.
Yeah, but it is the hotel.
It is.
It's the hotel, but it's not the hotel.
This fucking guy told you the hotel. I don't live in a fucking hotel.
You do live in the hotel.
God, I hate you.
You live at the Ritz-Carlton in the special wing.
It's called the Tower.
Right, but you're in the hotel though, right? It's part of the hotel. You can get your laundry done. You can order room service, right?
Yeah, they got to walk.
Okay.
They got to hike a bit.
But they come and they deliver.
They will come over to the residence tower. Yes.
How did you decide to do this? I think it's a brilliant idea.
Well,
if you can afford it, you know.
Because where I live, we're in this limbo phase right now with wanting to find a place to live for long term.
Gotcha.
With a better piece of land.
You want a piece of property.
Whether it's on the water or wherever it may be. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, we wanted to just kind of lease for the next 3 or 4 years. And so from year after year, I've moved. Like every 2 years or every year, I've moved. So the Ritz it's not like a permanent basis. We're just here temporarily going, oh, this is awesome. Right. You know, it's something different, new experience.
Right. Close to work too.
Yeah, we're right down the road. And we like staying downtown because the water's right there. The kids have access to parks. We homeschool the kids. So we get done, you know, when the wife is done with homeschooling them, it's like by 2 o'clock, they're at the park. And they're at 3 different parks around the downtown area, or we're at the beach, which is right over the bridge. And so that's why we've situated ourselves downtown. And it wasn't like a goal to get to the Ritz. It was just one day it popped up on a lease, and I was like, holy shit, we can live at the Ritz for X amount. This is great. It's fucking cool. And then we show up, and, you know, all of the people that live there are 60 plus.
Of course,
you show up at 30 years old.
What 30-year-old guy lives at the Ritz?
Yeah, you show up at 30 years old and 3 kids, and everybody lives in the building. What the fuck is this? You know, and at first they're like, wait a second. I remember
they probably think you're like drug dealers or something like that.
Keep in mind he's got the massive Hummer.
Yeah, they denied.
parking.
You have to apply to get into this building, and you go through background checks and all this, and they declined the application.
What?
And at the time, I was like, our lease was up on our one spot. I'm like, no, that's not happening. So I hit up my lawyer, badass lawyer in town, and he sent him a letter. Like, what are you denying him for? And they're like, whoa, we never denied anything. And before you know it, it's like, welcome to the Ritz-Carlton.
They think you're going to bring like a bag of cash to them every month or something like that. I mean, what the fuck is he thinking?
I don't know. It was pretty funny getting there, but that's the story of my life. There's like a roadblock, and then I just like go through it or around it.
How does your wife homeschool with the 2-year-old in the house?
Hey, he's a damn good kid. I mean, people on Instagram that follow me, Leo's He's all smiles, so it's pretty easy.
Right, but he behaves during the day?
He's off doing his own little thing. He's pretty independent. He's
Really?
got his
My
drum
son
set.
is like so, he needs to be with someone at all times.
Leo, he likes to be in your vicinity, but he's off kind of like playing the drums, playing the guitar, drawing on his sister's face. Like he's, yeah.
Do you think when you have multiple kids, the younger kids mature faster because they see the other ones?
Absolutely. Yeah, that Leo's light years ahead of the development of the girls at this point in time, and physically. I mean, he's just leaps and bounds. But I can see where, you know, my oldest and you know, my 5-year-old, they've set a tone, and you can see he's like a little mini me. He's driven and he's determined, and he sees something. He's like, I want it. And if he doesn't get it, he's gonna get it.
Right.
You know, you can say no all day long, but then he's like, and him and Angelina are very similar. They will make it happen.
Yeah, I can't say no to my son. I'm the biggest pusher of my wife is the disciplinarian because he starts laughing and he'll spray the hose right in my face. I'll tell him, don't spray that hose in my face.
Right, yeah.
And he'll do it again and I crack up. I can't
do it. You can't help yourself. It's the same with me and Leo.
I'm a sucker.
He does things and I just laugh.
Anthony, how'd you get involved with steel supplements?
I was random. I was.
Obviously, you guys live in the same area. But.
Yeah, but it was just so fluky.
But we've known each other. It's not just random. We've known each other for like 10
we've known each other a long
years.
time, but just it was random. We were like a little over a year ago. We bumped into each other at Longhorn Steakhouse, and it was just kind of at the bar. He came in to get two.
You weren't eating fish there, obviously. You
Hell no, I was racing in because I'm always on the go, and everybody starts to know. It's like I always see Jason driving somewhere. You know, so I was always getting food to go from this meeting to that meeting or this whatever, and I ran in to get 2 baked potatoes, and I'm minding my own damn business, and I don't when I go into a social situation, it's not like I'm antisocial. I just don't have time, and I'm like on a fucking mission to get what I need to get done.
Which is weird because you before the year ago you were so huge, people probably just couldn't stop looking at you.
Yeah, they look at me, but it's not like. You're unapproachable to some degree, when you got a fucking beard, and so to some degree it's nice. It like weeds out.
You look like
You
looked like a lunatic when you
That's
were
fine.
300
That's
pounds
great.
with that beard. I mean,
It was great.
You had people probably thought you were like a WWE wrestler.
But you
or
only
something
get
like
the
that.
people that you maybe that
know
are
you.
worth talking to or know you to come up to you and go, hey, outside of that, when I was a bodybuilder, I wasn't looking to go hang out at the club in a tank top. Like that wasn't me.
No,
Leave me alone. It's not like I have anything against you. I'm focusing on something right now, and I just want to be by myself. So when I walked in, I still have that energy. I just want to be left alone. And yeah, I'm smaller and I'm more approachable, and I have no problem with communicating with people. It's just at that time, when you're 300 pounds, it usually only attracts a lot of dumb curiosity. How much do you bench? Like, is that really important?
Yeah.
My uncle has a brother that's the same size as you. Really, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Really? I got to meet this guy. Is he willing to get in a session with me? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And so when I walked in, I walked into IHOP or Longhorn. 2 baked potatoes to go. I just wanted some potatoes, and I'm just looking at the bar. And as I walked in, my visual. My peripheral vision is very good, and I can see other muscle.
Right.
And when I see other muscle anywhere, I'm just kind of like, fuck, It's like, oh God, I don't want to like start a weightlifting conversation right now. I don't do that anymore, and I got other focuses, and then I think he said something. I looked over.
I just kept staring at him. Waiting because I knew eventually he's gonna have to look up.
Yeah. So I'm just like minding my own, waiting for my fucking potatoes, and I look over. I'm like, oh shit.
That was kind of
that guy.
Yeah. It was literally, the funny thing is, it's true. I was my day off from work, and I used to work in the car stuff like we talked about before. And I was sitting there that day thinking to myself, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
And then he
Then
came right through the door,
Wow.
and we started talking. And then I was like, with some operation stuff. And then he's like, we thought about it. And then I reached out to him like a week later through an email, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Really? So now, what do you do over at Steel?
Well, pretty much everything. The best way I can describe it is, and we were just talking about this analogy a week ago, is you got to view it as like, think of Steel and all his companies. He runs multiple companies as just like a big rocket ship, right? And Jason has an idea of what he wants that rocket ship to look like and where he wants it to go and what he wants to achieve in life. And my job, and he's the engine, and my job is to basically build a rocket ship that can ensure, regardless of how much power and how far he wants that thing to go, that the thing can actually stay together. So my job is basically just to keep that thing together and build it in a way that it can go as far as he wants it to.
So do you oversee like personnel who work for him?
Yeah, pretty much everything, whether it be finances to, I assist a little bit in the marketing, but that's more him, but finances, operations, human resource stuff, all that kind of stuff.
How many people you got working for you now?
24.
24 people you employ?
Yeah.
How big is your warehouse?
Collectively, we've got between we have multiple warehouses.
So four. We have 4 warehouses.
Wow.
I would say maybe 10,000 square.
It's more. It's more than that. Yeah, but the ceilings are high, so we use this.
Yeah, we
utilize
can go
the
up.
space.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Congratulations. How many companies are you running now?
Oh man, we got one.
You got Steel Supplements. What do you got? The clothing line?
Clothing line.
What's the
We've
clothing
got 2
line
clothing lines. We have Jason Jessica Fitness.
Right.
CM Apparel, which is a clothing screen printing and private labeling business.
Oh, so you like make clothing for other people,
yeah.
including
Exactly.
yourself, I'm
We have
sure,
a
right?
manufacturing facility in Sarasota.
Wow. And you
steel.
own that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything.
Right.
Everybody has this really hard time with understanding that this dumb bodybuilder, I guess, can own shit and run a business.
I love it because this is great because I think people have to see that there is business.
Yeah, there's
that can be
just
related
like
to
I
bodybuilding.
said earlier in like if you take that energy and apply it to something else, you're gonna be something. You're
You
gonna
own a
make it,
manufacturer
yeah.
that makes your clothing and other people's clothing. So if I need clothing made, you can manufacture for me. You got the supplements. Do you manufacture your own supplements or no?
Not yet.
Oh, so you're trying to buy a manufacturing plant?
I always keep my
Options open.
options open. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not against that.
Right now we manufacture off-site up in Georgia, and we have.
So you have-
I'd say we have the best in the country as far as manufacturing capabilities, hands
Okay.
down. And they know that, and I love them.
Are
and
you
they
thinking
love
about buying them? Is that what you're hinting at?
We're not in that position.
No,
There's no
okay.
fucking way. They run the planet, or
Yeah.
they run the U.S. when it comes to manufacturing. That's not what I'm looking to do. Not at all.
Okay, and what else? What other businesses are you running out of? Anything else?
We've got the smoothie shop, which I've had for 11 years.
Oh, really? Who runs that? You just have like a staff?
Yeah,
there?
we just got a girl. She's running right now, and we kind of oversee.
Is it in a gym or it's a separate location?
No, it's a separate location downtown.
Do you make money doing that?
It does its thing. It's not
Yeah.
like
And we move
it's
a
more
lot
of
of our
like
product, again, shirts.
I have
Was that your original supplement
that
store?
was my original store.
Oh, okay.
I've had the same one. So it's nothing insanely profitable, but it does its thing. It pays its bills,
But
and it's
people don't realize
provided.
you used to work there.
No,
And people would
and
come in
it-
to see you. I remember that's
Absolutely.
where you sold
And
all
I
your stuff
love,
there.
I love that shop. I have an emotional connection to that. There's a lot of good things have come from that. A lot of development, personal, and other people that have run it have gone off to do bigger and better things. So
Actually, people used to tell me that he doesn't really sell supplements. He just sells clothing there.
yeah,
His own clothing.
it's constantly gone back and forth.
Yeah.
I had such an issue with the supplement industry, and that's why I was really I got away from it. I just made smoothies for people, and I helped people out with their diets, and I gave them advice, whether it be, bodybuilding, fitness, life. It was like my own little nest to kind of help out people, and people would come and pick my brain, and when I wasn't competing, them I would don't come around.
Did the clothing come first, or did the supplements come first?
The clothing came first, 2014.
Right. Were you surprised how much money you made in clothing?
It
'Cause
was
a lot of people.
retarded.
I have T-shirts I sell, and people like them, and I don't.
Right.
I don't make any money from selling
Right.
T-shirts. It's like a promotional thing. How did you catch on so much that all these people wanted your clothing?
I would have to. When I hung my hat in bodybuilding, I spent a year doing nothing except going back to being creative and artistic again. And social media was this new
Was
thing.
that your method of selling things?
It was the method, but I realized there's this platform, and I like to be away and a recluse. And so everybody's like, it's a big social media horde now. I'm like, no, look, fuckers. When I'm in the position to turn that shit off, I'm gone. I'm not. That's not me.
So you don't like it?
I like it. It has put me in a position to do and help others, but initially I was very turned off by it. Now that I've figured out how to situate my social media to kind of help people and influence them in a positive way, I like it now. But back then it was just I don't want to do this.
Right.
It just spawns more negativity,
Yeah.
whether it be about myself or the industry and other people and the females in this industry. It just aids in destroying lives.
Right.
And people don't see that. From a psychological point of view, Instagram and social media is horrific. It's going to result in some. So, anyways, sidetrack.
I hate it. I do it, but I hate it because I feel like I'm obsessive compulsive. I'm I didn't answer my Instagram, Facebook, here, Twitter, this, that.
When I realized
and I have 14 different accounts in Facebook because I got a steak page, I got a regular page, I got my RXMuscle page, I don't, and I'm always watching what other people do, and I'm like, I didn't do enough because I can do that too, but I just don't have time. I don't know when I can record another fucking video, another podcast.
In 2014, when I realized how powerful it was, and I did one post and I grew 30,000 followers in 1 week, I was wow, holy shit. And at the time I was with Animal. I just signed with Animal, and I just launched my Jason and Jessica business where we were going to do some training for people and the typical diets and then some clothing. And my following started growing exponentially month by month by month. And I launched after I started the social media page, which was in August or September. I launched the first clothing, or my first t-shirt in November. And I did everything by email. I had no website. I just said, hey, email me.
Right.
And before you know it, it got to the point by over January, I was getting 100 emails a day.
Wow.
And I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, I
can't answer them.
I'm screwed right now.
I stopped answering Instagram. I couldn't do it
I'm
anymore.
so screwed.
Yeah.
Between the DMs, the emails, and the orders, Jess and I were losing our minds, and it was just me and her in a little apartment at our dining room table. And I had spent that year though getting creative with the shirts, and I stepped back from the industry and I go, what is going on in the bodybuilding and fitness industry now, and what isn't being done? Like, I want to be able to say what I've always wanted to say my entire bodybuilding career on a shirt.
Right.
And I'm going to say some things that every bodybuilder is going to has wanted to say too, or not thought of to say.
What's the website for the clothing, just so we can pull that up?
JasonandJessicaFitness.com.
Okay. And what were you putting on these shirts that was people
Our
were
iconic
resonating
one is
with?
the workout is better when you shut the fuck up. You know, I move weight like you move your mouth. You know, this is the same thing.
just
every bodybuilder.
just things that you in your mind thought.
Yeah. So it really took off. We launched the website.
Newest one.
It was
Yes, I'm on right. I didn't straighten. Thanks for asking.
Right? I mean,
And people buy this stuff?
all day.
Really?
All day. But think about it, Dave. In your bodybuilding career,
how many times?
it's the stigma.
Yeah.
It's the stigma that you're on roids, it's your dick. That's not the case though. And then of course.
Right, but I didn't know people would wear this.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Really, they do. Like, how many T-shirts you sell? Like, let's say a month.
Oh, geez, a month right now. Tony would have a better.
Tony,
Right
how
now,
many?
JJ hasn't gotten the attention that I once was giving it, and that's due to my focuses on steel. But at our, at our high,
1,800 T-shirts a month you sell?
is that right now?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
If I show this to my wife, she'd be like, no one will buy these shirts. I'm like, you don't understand the bodybuilding mentality.
The bodybuilding mentality. You know, I love the bodybuilders out there. I love my hardcore following.
Sure.
I love.
Even our new steel shirts.
Yeah.
We came out with a new one a week ago, a sand and a green colored steel. And
Right.
we sold out of them in 2 days.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you put them, are you like the Baileys, like the Dana and Bailey, do you put them up on like social media and they just go crazy?
They do.
As soon as you post them?
They do. And Rob and Dana, I love Rob and Dana. They kind of motivated me in the beginning, a couple years back when I saw what they did, and they did it. I remember seeing them at the last show I was at, and I asked him, what are you doing? He's like, dude, we're in a van and we were trucking around the country, and they put in work. Yeah. They really started from the ground up, and I respected the hell out of that. And I wasn't in the business to try and go and replicate, what they did.
Right.
I just saw it, and I kind of said, you know what, I'm just going to appeal to the more hardcore dudes. And the guys that looked up to me, or the guys that I looked up to, and that's the route I want to take. It's not like I'm trying to. They're in a more of a mainstream fitness demographic.
Yeah.
And it's
You've got a hardcore demographic, so you got to have your own niche. Do you get nervous when you see those monthly bills coming in and you get 20 something salaries to pay? You got maybe Anthony does it.
I'm not a numbers guy. I don't.
It doesn't make you nervous. I mean, it's a big night. You got all the 4 facilities and stuff.
Because
like
I'm
that.
so I could see where that could hinder somebody's growth and actually hinder one's ability to be successful. But I only focus on manifesting more. So I've never actually gone, oh shit, I can't pay the bills. I've never actually been in a position.
Oh, that's great. Look, Jason, proud of you. I've seen you grow up in front of my eyes, and I think the whole bodybuilding world has, in a sense. And it's great that you guys have teamed up, because Anthony knows I think very highly of him, and I think he's a really intelligent guy. You got a great guy working with you.
I can't do it without this guy. He knows that, man.
And it's great because you guys live right near each other.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
It was almost like a match made in heaven there.
God, we got to do an interview about the time when he backed out of the USAs.
No, we've done that. We've already.
I'm just my take on that.
What was your take on that? What was your take? I think he just lost his mind, but what was your take on the whole thing?
Some would say he lost his mind, and some say he found his mind. Right? I now knowing what I understand about my life and his, and I really realized that he actually made the intelligent move because of how extreme he is and how extreme I am. He would have just gone off the deep end if he would have just said, you know what, I'm going to show up, take my title, and I'm going to be a pro. And where would it have ended? How would it have ended? Right. And Tony was calculated enough to step back and go, where's this going? And I remember 2 weeks out.
But you're full of shit. You would have done the show, got the pro card, and then said, I don't want it. You would have said, fuck you, I don't want it.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's me. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And, my pro show, I showed up with a fucking beard on stage. And I was just like, ta-da.
You were the first guy, by the way, with the beard.
True.
I know.
You originated the beard. Yeah.
Everybody is a damn beard in
copied it.
bodybuilding. I'm just like, I mean, that's awesome. But
I remember when you first had the beard, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? No one had beards.
I remember showing up there. Yeah. What the fuck's wrong with this
It was
guy?
an unwritten rule. Don't show up with a beard.
Sean Ray is like, oh, here comes a fucking fire truck with hair on his face.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So I am different. I want to go all in. I want to experience it. I want to feel the pain. But I look 2 weeks out from his show. He hit me up. He's like, I'm not doing it. And I'll never forget it.
He waited till 1 week out to tell me, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, I don't know, I don't want to tell. I'm like, well, oh my God, what's going on? Like, really? No. It's like they're gonna give it to you. It's yours.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'll never forget. That
He
night,
looked so good too.
Yeah, I was in the shower with the wife, and she's trying to take it in that direction, and I'm in a hot, like it's getting a little steamy, and I just stopped. I'm just like, what the fuck?
This
just
fucking
happened?
guy's not doing the USA.
And she's just looking at me like, really, motherfucker? And I'm
all
just
you
like,
think about?
yeah. I was just like, I'm fucking, I can't do this right now. I'm like, I'm at a fucking loss. Like, I know what determination and dedication and drive and meticulous attention to detail it took to get to this point. What the fuck? All he had to do was eat ho-hos for 2 weeks and just show up in a.
You know what he said to me? He's like, I cheated with a Quest bar and it
he's
messed
so
up
full
my
of
head.
shit.
Yeah.
He's so full of shit. The fucking Quest bar.
It was a Quest bar.
That ruins his mentality.
Jeez. So I really, but up until that point, I started to step back and really develop I guess I'm really good at understanding people and why they do what they do. Because my mom's a fucking psychologist.
Yes.
So I wanted to understand why. Like, why would you do this? And as the years have progressed, I got into Tony, and I'm like, it all makes sense. And I understand myself better, and he understands
He
himself
wouldn't have
better.
stopped. That's why, because he wouldn't have been able to stop.
He wouldn't have been able to stop. And
he
he did the right thing.
Yeah, I think everyone makes the right decisions ultimately.
Ultimately, we all do.
It's sometimes you just can't explain them. That's all.
Yep.
It's just time and experience that really help you to refine who it is.
5 years from now, where do you want to be?
Still developing, creating something. Whether it's other companies.
Do you see yourself selling these companies, or do you see yourself? I want to just make them bigger.
I don't have plans like that. I just kind of flow. Most people in the industry that
What if someone came along and offered you, a good amount of money? Would you sell them?
It would have to be I have an emotional connection to steel, and I would imagine that the
you
people
like what
that
you're
are
doing. That's what I want to know.
dedicated to the brand know that I'm not in it for the money to just like up and leave the company when a number comes. I would have he knows I'd have a really hard time.
Right.
It would have to be something ridiculously astronomical, and I would still want to play a part in something from a marketing or artistic standpoint.
But it doesn't have anything to do with the money. You have enough money.
It's not. And
Look,
that's a lesson.
He's living in the Ritz-Carlton, right?
That's a lesson
in the hotel.
That's a lesson that I have learned. Money will. You hear it time and time again. Money doesn't make you happy, but it took me to make some money to really realize that, especially when your health goes to shit and you think
you'll
that
spend anything. To get
you will
your health
spend
back.
anything.
Yeah.
And
You'll
with
give it all away.
being at the Ritz-Carlton and living with 70 plus people that are 60 and older that are dying, they all have cancer, they're going through chemo, and they have millions and fucking millions of dollars. And I mean, some of them have some are billionaires.
Right.
I have a dude.
You're the poorest guy there, probably.
I'm probably the poorest motherfucker there.
Yeah.
And there's this little dude that he's a billionaire. He wears this shirt. It's $1 billion or bust. That's the kind of money I get to see. But
you should make a T-shirt with that slogan on it.
But when you get to see that and you live it and breathe it, it just puts so much perspective.
Might be a bestseller.
Right. That's unfortunate, though. Yeah, it is, because when you see the health that some of these people are in, yes, it has provided them a situation to maybe get through their health issues, but they're still just as what's the word? Struggle. There's just this pain is there.
But it's all in the mentality. When they were probably developing and earning all their money, they said, "I can't take care of my health because it's going to distract my energy from making money."
And now they're paying for their health.
Right.
Yep.
And there's no fucking amount of money that you can pay to get your health.
That's why you have to balance. There has to be a balance, and unfortunately, we're the people who are the most successful, are the biggest extremists.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
We find balance when we get older, and when it's too late already.
It's too late, and that's where this year.
Hopefully not too late.
It's exactly. I found that I can't do what I've learned a lesson being at the Ritz. Like I will not take back being at the Ritz because I learned so much. I'm like, wow, I got to find balance. It isn't about building companies and doing this, and it's not even all about just diving completely into family. It has to be a little.
Well, that's why you got to go back to the gym.
Yeah, and I do.
You're gonna go.
I go and I walk and I breathe and I meditate and I move my arms. I do jumping jacks.
You'll be back at the gym.
Yeah,
not like to the degree you were, but you'll be back because that's your Zen place to be.
Yeah, it's to some degree. It never changes. It's so ingrained in
you have to have a different relationship with the gym.
Exactly.
Well said.
And I think that's what I have now. I think it's a healthy relationship.
It's healthy,
now,
yeah.
as opposed to an unhealthy, which was I have to go there and defeat the gym.
Right,
You know?
right.
And
But
it just
man,
took you longer. You had to do 4 hours to defeat the gym. I did it in an hour.
Yeah, it
You
was
did
4
an hour,
hours
20
and then like a
minutes. Yeah.
year of like, oh, you're gonna die, and it wasn't actually bodybuilding.
Right.
It was you trying to be healthy.
Right.
And guess what? Money ain't gonna fix this problem. It's balance. Remember this, guys. Money can aid in experiences to experience things that you haven't experienced before. But my God, it will not put the right kind of smile on your face. Well, the right kind of smile meaning balance, your loved ones and your family, your children, and then whatever else you do to kind of alleviate stress. That's where the happiness lies. Like I said, money will bring experiences, but man, if you're looking to put a smile on your face, yeah, I'll be the first one to tell you. It can put you in experiences that will experience a lot of sadness, a lot of pain.
Well said. Well said. Thank you for coming into the studio, Jason.
Yeah,
Anthony, for
it's
joining
good to
us.
be
And
here.
guys, hopefully you can take some of that wisdom that Jason imparted to you and see that there is life after bodybuilding. And if you put your mind to what you want to do and your passion into that, you can develop and build anything, not just your physique, your mind, your wallet, your pocketbook, and your happiness. And I think Jason showed us that we've seen him progress from teen national champ, USA champion, and now he's a master of his own domain in his business sense and in his personal life. And it's great to watch you grow.
Appreciate it, guys.
And
This is
appreciate
awesome.
you giving us some great stories here today.
Yes, appreciate it.
All right, that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live with In Studio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you next time.